Good evening, everyone. My name is Ulysses Cabrera, the mayor here in the city of Moreno Valley. As a dad, a neighbor, and someone who enjoys a good backyard barbecue and fun by the pool, this topic hits home for me. With summer right around the corner, now is the perfect time to talk about water safety. This evening, we recognize May as Water Safety Awareness Month, a time to remind families to stay alert, stay prepared, and most importantly, stay safe around water. As temperatures rise, we know our community loves spending time at pools, lakes, splash pads, and water parks. Between 2016 and 2022, California saw more than 3,600 water-related deaths and nearly 10,000 emergency visits for near drowning incidents. Those numbers remind us why awareness and preparation matter. Here in Moreno Valley, we're doing something about it. Our aquatics program teaches kids and families water safety basics, from how to swim to what to do in an emergency. It's about building confidence, staying active, and having fun safely. We also support the California Water Safety Strategy, a statewide plan focused on protecting our most vulnerable residents, especially our children, by promoting swim lessons, pool safety measures, and better public outreach. Water safety isn't just a summer issue, it's a year-round responsibility. And we of course thank Chief Jesse Park and the entire fire department for everything that they do to protect lives on land and in the water. So at this time, if you could please join me in a big round of applause as we welcome Fire Chief Jesse Park to the microphone. And without further ado, Chief Park, I will hand the mic off to you to share a few words, sir.
Thank you. Yes, thank you to the mayor and council for bringing this important issue to our community. Every year throughout the county, our firefighters and police officers respond to drowning calls. There is no one specific group or age or gender. Anyone can be susceptible to drowning, but awareness, education, and training can make the difference. And so we encourage all our residents to go to the city website at moval.org/poolsafety, which is full of water safety educational tips and videos from leading authorities. We also encourage everyone to get trained in CPR and to learn to swim. The Moreno Valley Aquatics Program, hosted at Valley View High School, offers a wide range of swim lessons and recreational training. Swimming opportunities from June 23rd to August 2nd. This program is designed to cater to all skill levels and ensure a safe and enjoyable experience. So thank you, and please be water safe this summer.
Thank you so much, Chief. And as I invite my colleagues to join us here for a picture as we present this proclamation, as the Chief mentioned, our staff worked really hard to make sure that we have these aquatics programs, that we have the opportunity to take our children to participate in swim lessons and water safety classes. And so please take advantage of that. You can find the information online on our website and our pages. So highly recommend if you are not aware or you would like more information, please contact us, call our office, and we're more than happy to get that information to you. So without further ado, we will officially present this proclamation to Fire Chief Jesse Park. Thank you, Chief. Thank you so much, Chief. Really appreciate it. Thank you for all that you do, your entire department. I know now is the time as we head into the summer when everybody turns out more to the pool and starts to use those facilities more. So just, again, friendly reminder for everybody to stay safe out there, please be aware, keep your eyes open, your ears open, and pay attention to all of that. So without further ado, we will officially conclude our special presentations for today, and we'll be back at 6 p.m. for our regular council meeting. Thank you. Good evening and welcome to the joint meeting of the City Council of the City of Moreno Valley. The City Council receives a separate stipend from the Community Services District if any CSD business is conducted at the meeting. I now call this meeting to order on June 3rd, 2025 at 6:01 p.m. I look to my colleagues to see if anyone would like to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance this evening. Mayor Pro Tem Banca Santa Cruz will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, and please remain standing for the invocation given by Pastor Mark Oriana from Victory Outreach.
Please place your right hand over your heart. Ready, begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty. Good evening, Pastor. Welcome.
Good evening. Thank you for the opportunity to be able to do this, Mayor and all the council. Really appreciate it. Today I wanted to start off with there's a scripture that says in Proverbs 11:14 that says that defeat comes when we lack wisdom, but we have victory when we get counsel from many. You know, that was written by King Solomon, who was the wisest man on earth. And he wrote all the Proverbs, and they all talked about wisdom. And in Proverbs 1:7, it says, the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. And so when we fear the Lord, we invite him at the center. And I'm so grateful for the city for always inviting the wisdom of God at the center of it. So if you would help me to pray and to invoke for the Lord to give us that wisdom. Father in heaven, this evening, we just thank you. And at the end, we'll give you glory for everything that you're going to do. I pray for your wisdom to be at the center of every decision that has to be made. I pray, Lord, that you would guide and lead and bless our city, Lord, as the decisions that are made here today is for the future of our city and the future of our children. I pray, Lord, that here today that you will be the light and that you will guide us into every truth and every decision that has to be made. We pray for your blessings. We pray for wisdom, so like that we can have favor before man and before God. In Jesus' name, amen. Thank you once again.
Thank you very much, Pastor Oriana. Really appreciate you joining us tonight for the invocation. Next up, we will move to item D. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Thank you, Mayor. Councilmember Bernard.
Here.
Councilmember Gonzalez.
Here.
Councilmember Delgado.
Here, ma'am.
Mayor Pro Tem Baca Santa Cruz.
Here.
And Mayor Cabrera.
Here.
Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Item E, motions to excuse. We are all present, so we will go ahead and move on to item F, staff introductions, please.
Patty Rodriguez, City Clerk.
Sonia Gomez, Senior Deputy City Clerk.
Stephen Quintanilla, City Attorney.
Ryan Mohan, City Manager.
Lonnie Jimenez, Assistant City Manager of Administration.
Dina Hill, Chief Financial Officer, City Treasurer.
Sean Kelleher, Assistant City Manager Development.
Angelica Frausto-Lipo, Community Development Director.
Keith Gemmell, Acting Economic Development and Housing Director.
Melissa Walker, Director of Public Works.
Jeremy Bubnick, Director of Parks and Community Services.
Robert Cardenas, Human Resources Director.
Jesse Park, Fire Chief.
Sarah Mack, Chief of Police.
Thank you very much, team. It's always a pleasure to be here in the chamber to conduct the people's business. And with that, we'll go ahead and move to item G, approval of order of the agenda. And I'll look to my colleagues to see if there are any requests. If not, we are looking for a motion and a second.
So moved.
I second.
There's a motion and a second. Madam Clerk, please call for the vote.
Thank you, Mayor. Councilmember Bernard.
Yes.
Councilmember Gonzalez.
Yes.
Councilmember Delgado.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Baca Santa Cruz.
Yes.
And Mayor Cabrera.
Yes, thank you. The motion carries. Next is item H, public comments on matters that are not on the agenda. Friendly reminder that the city now offers language translation services through a free app called Wordly. The app automatically translates a variety of languages into English and vice versa. To use this service, please scan the QR code at the speaker's sign-up table. For the visually impaired, please use your earphones or earbuds to listen to the verbal translation. If you do not have any such listening devices, please let the city clerk staff know, and we will gladly let you borrow some for this meeting. La ciudad ahora ofrece servicios de traducción de idiomas a través de una aplicación gratuita llamada Wordly. Si gustan usar este servicio, avísenle por favor a la secretaria y entregue su tarjeta para hablar. Para usar la traducción, escanee el código QR que está en la mesa junto a las puertas. Before we move on to public comment, I'd like to remind everyone to direct their comments to the City Council. For comments on items on tonight's agenda, each speaker will have a total of 3 minutes to comment. Madam Clerk, do we have any requests to speak on non-agenda items?
We do, Mayor. The first two speakers are Seth Cox, followed by Kanelka Jones.
Good evening.
Evening, Council. Again, staff. I've always said I would throw out kudos when they were due. Mr. Jeremy Grubnick over there and his parks people for a grand opening of Celebration Park last evening. Great job over there. Continue on. Now to my subjects that I hope he can squeeze in. I would like to find out some way if there are requirements for vacant buildings to be inspected and pass certain conditions. And the reason I ask, you all know I work with a couple of charities in town, and there's one of them been trying to find a building for quite a while. They've gone out there and looked at 4 buildings so far, and not one of them is occupiable. Either they got holes in the roof, they got water running down the walls, they got mold in them. I would think there'd be a safety hazard. So I don't know if they have to have fire inspections or code inspections, but if they do, please do it. And the other 2 things are a little transparency tonight. First of all, I would continue to say I'm against the warehouse, the storage facilities that are proposed out on the corner of Nason and Alessandro. I'm sorry, Merino Beach Boulevard and Alessandro. The other one is some transparency. Our immersion theater and what's it going to be? A history thing, Moreno Valley history. Just want the public to know that the city will be in debt or has spent $7.5 million for that facility before the first day of opening, okay? That includes the $5 million up front and $250,000 a month for fees, plus utilities. So it's out there, it was approved. I just want the public to know. The second one is I would also like to understand the contract for the new jump park, Morrison Park jump thing. On my understanding, the way I read it, it's a commercial developed outfit, okay, for contract. It's going to be run by a commercial, not by the parks people, not by the city. Maybe I'm reading it wrong. So why has the city spent almost $1 million on it so far? I don't know. That's just a question. Somebody might could answer me before it's all over. I think that's it for tonight. I have plenty more, but my 3 minutes are up. Good evening.
The next speaker is Kanelka Jones.
Good evening, Mayor and City Council. My name is Kanisa Jones, and I'm the founder and president of Silence Allowed Incorporated, a nonprofit proudly serving and located in Moreno Valley. We serve vulnerable youth and families since 2006. I'm also a very proud former city employee of 10 years in economic development and housing. Silence Allowed started with a mission to raise awareness about the sexual abuse of boys and quickly evolved into a community-based provider of foster care, housing, mental health, and supportive services for children, teens, and transition-age youth. In 2023, we opened the Bridge Wellness Center, located just 3 minutes from here at Ellsworth and Golden Crest Drive and Moreno Valley Corporate Center. It's a 5,200 square foot facility featuring youth lounges, private therapy offices, a technology lab, a music recording studio, a podcasting room, art spaces, and meeting rooms. The bridge was built with the vision of becoming a one-stop shop for youth through the ages of youth and young adults through the ages of 25. Because when youth are in crisis, they shouldn't have to navigate multiple systems just to get basic support. We provide a full spectrum of free youth-centered services, including mental health and behavioral health services, housing and system navigation, life skills and wellness workshops, workforce development, education support, creative expression through our Artivism Youth Wellness Project, which is funded by Kaiser Permanente. And most recently, we're very proud to have been awarded Riverside County's contract for the Youth Homelessness Demonstration Program as the primary drop-in center for the Western region. So we will be providing supportive services only and referrals and linkages. And so Riverside County was successful at finally getting that funding from HUD, and we were successful in being the primary entry point for all homeless youth in Riverside County. And then they do have one that's going to be placed out in the desert region. So I want to make sure that you guys were aware of that. Some of the supportive services we'll be providing are hygiene supplies, food, clothing, transportation assistance, assistance with expungement of records if they have criminal justice system involvement, assistance with getting vital records, IDs, social security cards, applying for benefits, peer support, a peer navigator that will help them walk through those systems to, help support them in maintaining state.
Thank you very much. And if you could please leave information with staff, we'll definitely make sure to reach out. Thank you.
The next speaker is James Baker.
Good evening, Council. Good to be here. Good to see you all again. Of course, you guys know I'm Commissioner James Baker, and I'm here for actually for another subject or item J2, I think it is. But right now, I just want to put something on your mind. I want you to think about it. I don't want to necessarily get a vote or nothing like that. I just want to put something on your mind and just think what we can do as a city. Moreno Valley is the second largest city in the city of Riverside County. Is that correct? Okay. Long Beach has done it. Other cities have done it. Why can't we do it? Put a float in a Tournament of Roses parade. Build a float, or find out how to do it, and put a float in a Tournament of Roses parade. It would make us, we're already on a map as it is, but this is to make us internationally on a map. Now again, I'm not looking for any kind of okays or nothing like that, but we're a good city. We got the staff, we got the people, and we got the knowledge to get it done. And with the international status for us to put a float in an international Rose Parade. Give it a thought. Let's give it a shot, guys. I think we can pull this one off. All right? All right. Now I'll take no for an answer. I won't take no for an answer. Take care, guys. Just think about it, okay? Maybe we can do this. You guys can applaud. Thank you so much.
The next two speakers are Richard Bolter.
Good evening, councilors. Mayor, my name is Richard Bolter, and I am the CFO for the Hole in Wall Inc. Here to deliver you guys the quarterly report of the CFO for the second quarter of the pilot program. I'd like to focus tonight on an increase not only in the new clientele we have signed up for our Community Homeless Solutions program, but an increase directly related to cost associated with our growth. We have seen that last year our operating and program expenses had exceeded the amount of the foundation grant monies allocated for 2024. In the first quarter of 2025, we had 36 new clients added to our previous existing fourth quarter of 2024 clients. We are experiencing a 41% increase in new clientele in our second quarter. Our second quarter number is 63 new clients for a total of clientele of 99. If we compare 2024 numbers to our 2025 numbers, we see a 15% increase in clientele services. The grant funding, of course, remains static as a program costs continue to follow our growth. Total money spent at the end of our second quarter reflect that growth. We will vigilantly, we remain vigilant, excuse me, we remain vigilant with the cost of services such as hygiene, lunches, and bus passes. This means carefully scrutinizing our clients' willingness to follow through on a case management plans and referrals. Our lunch program alone yearly is approximately between $9,000 and $12,000. Hygiene costs nearly approximately about $7,500 to $8,500. These two services alone account for over half our program expenses and over half the grant total. This does not include other units of service costs such as bus passes. We have not taken any payroll from the grant. Again, in 2024, fourth quarter cost exceeding the 2024 grant allocation. This year, at our second quarter, we have used 15% more funds than last year at this time. $26,035.92 is our expenses at the end of our second quarter. I can assure the city grants funds are carefully spent, tracked, and accounted for. We are extremely grateful for the foundation grant and what we've been able to accomplish with these funds with your help. Thank you very much for your guys' time. We appreciate all your help, and you guys have a great evening.
Our next speaker is David Nielsen.
All right, good evening, Mayor. Good evening, Councilman. Good evening, City Council staff and City Services. My name is David Nielsen. I am the Operations Manager of the Hole in the Wall. You just heard our CFO, Richard Bolter, speak about our foundation grant. So I'm here to just give a basic overview of the second quarter of our second year of the grant. And as he said, we have 63 new persons signed up as clients to our Community Homeless Solutions. And so we're seeing a 15% increase compared to our second quarter of 2024. We do continue to offer clients drug and alcohol classes, community service, case management, and referrals, and other various programs. And of course, we carefully assess the criteria of each individual's condition, situation, looking for programs that they may qualify or not qualify for. We do terminate clients who show no willingness to change their condition or move forward in our approach, allowing us to redirect crucial time and resources to those who are willing and interested in a lifestyle change. It's always done with thoughtful consideration on a case-by-case basis. Our intent at the Hole in the Wall still remains to leave them better off than when they came in. Our average foot traffic is 40 to 50 persons a week and fluxes seasonally with weather or other changes in laws enforcement or city policies, such as the neighborhood enhancement operations. We do believe these efforts by the city are responsible for directing more homeless to our offices. So we thank you for your efforts. We receive many phone calls for referrals for those who may not physically be able to get into our offices. However, our most intensive work and focus of purpose will always remain locally, community-based at the point of contact at our offices on Postal. Let's see, our success rate for those who desire to get off the street by accessing available programs rose from 36% to 41%. We would also like to note that this percentage lines up with city statistics verifying the segment of homeless population who are willing to access services. What we've seen trending, we've seen a big upsurge in women with children fleeing from domestic violence. We've also seen an upsurge and an increase in senior displacement and homelessness. We've also noticed a slight increase as well in the homeless population of previously incarcerated individuals on parole and probation who remain unhoused. So we continue to focus on recuperative care, and we've been working closely with IEHP caseworkers. These are for individuals who are homeless but debilitating or chronic physical conditions. And so we believe that the most vital information that can be tracked is what services and programs the individuals have received or accessed previous to walking in to our doors, what they have and haven't done since being referred out from our doors. It's not an easy endeavor, but we believe that this information will be crucial to city services. So our next quarter report will contain such information for City Council. And so we're excited about our continued growth and ability to make a difference, and we thank the City of Moreno Valley and the Foundation Grant for this continued opportunity to provide services to our homeless.
The next speaker is Benjamin Schuler.
Evening, City Council, Mayor, and fellow members of the City of Moreno Valley. As you heard from our staff, from the Hole in the Wall, I am the founder of the Hole in the Wall. We're located, for those that don't know, on 24187 Postal Avenue. We are a walk-in version of, if you're ever familiar with 211 services, we are that walk-in version of that service where a homeless person can walk in and we provide the necessary resources to allow us to be able to make a difference. We can't get rid of the problem as a whole, but we can make a difference. And so far, with evidence-based people getting off the street that's coming through our services, I just want to thank you guys for allowing us to continue to serve. And I do want to apologize. We had to unfortunately cancel our Homeless Awareness Day 3 health fair due to circumstances dealing with the property owners. We were unable to get the vendors' liability insurance in a timely fashion to the owners. So therefore, I want to apologize on behalf of any staff or city council member that might have came by and noticed that the event wasn't taking place because we had to pull the plug at the last minute. So on behalf of my organization, we postponed the event. We are looking forward to coming up with a better date once we can get all the legal things dealing with the insurances with the vendors that's going to be on the property of the owners. So I wanted to personally come here and apologize on behalf of my organization, and I want to personally thank the city for what they have allowed us to do in trusting city funds. That's all I have. Thanks.
The next speaker is Christopher Baca.
Good afternoon, community, staff, and elected officials. First of all, it's just a FYI, in case anyone was aware of the Democratic Convention this weekend. Our contingency met with the Attorney General, and we informed him and provided him with information regarding of the gifts of public funds that are being given by the city to certain developers, particularly Highland Fairview, which is unfair, particularly granting them services that can be given to the community for improving our community, but yet it's given to a organization that is corrupt and is bamboozling our city out of funds that belong to our taxpayers and not to a foreign entity. Okay, so be advised. So I'm sorry if this turns out to be another humiliation for our city, but something needs to be done since nobody stands up to the podium and allows this corruption to continue. On another note, this is a community informative. On Thursday, the 5th, there's a drive-through event that's going to be giving community members free supplies and clothing for youth. This is all free to the community, and it's at March Air Force Base. It's Thursday from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m., June 5th. and it's a free event, and it's for needy families, and hope you can pass that through and let people know. Thank you.
The next speaker is Roy Bleckert.
So I have an email in about the Planning Commission. Ask what's going on. Are you going to let the 4 members that are sitting there up for appointments just linger for the next 4 years? Are we going to get an answer why Gabby Menendez is no longer listed as an alternate? Why she was recommended by the 3rd District Councilman and recommended again by the mayor, and why is she gone? Are you going to reform the process so we don't look like a clown show again? I think most of you know why it was done. Part of the reason will probably be coming up later on. We'll see how that goes. But this city will never move forward until it's at least run competently. I'm making the appeal to the council, to the executive members of the staff. Put the proposals in place. It's staff's job to put those proposals in front of you, even if you like it or not. Go back and look. You guys love the California League of Cities. Go look. Go look on why the city manager government and council form of government was formed. Now, I will say you're not the only one, because 98.7% of the process has been hijacked. As Pete said many times, because he went through it 40 years ago, you go up there to get your brain sucked out, and then you get installed, raise taxes, foul everything up, just like you're doing here. That's the responsibility of the 5 up there. That's the responsibility of those in the well. There's all sorts of ways to do it. Tom Gerald had the one of doing districts, and then maybe a couple at large. You could go 3-year terms like we used to have, and do 3-2-2. That way you've always got a certain amount, but you'll never have like you do now, where you can change the majority in one shot. That's the difference between a city that's run simply, efficiently, and effectively, and one run like this. Our council is a reflection of our community. Maybe one day we'll change it and work for everybody.
The next speaker is the IE Informer.
All right, good evening, council, staff, Chief Brian, good job. Also I want to give a shout out to the, what do you call that? The inspectors that come out. I just had my circuit breaker panel replaced, and the old school inspector came out and was like, we got to make sure these parts aren't made in China, so my house doesn't burn down. So great job. Those guys, you do that. But what I want to talk about tonight is we have a great project that's going to be coming up. I want to talk about that a little bit later on tonight. But what I want to talk about tonight is, I want to talk about you, Mayor. This is not personal. You don't want to make anything personal. But once again, I owe you an apology for what I said yesterday or last time. You're not the scumbag that everybody thinks you are. You're a POS, and I don't want to go on that because of Ed up there. You're a POS. When you gave that crappy apology to Shalinda, Miss Bernard, you kept saying we here on the dais. You were the one that offended her and her husband. They should not come into it at all. You should be apologizing. But see, you don't do that. And like the child that you are, you're not even man enough to look at me in the eye and take this constructive criticism. This is why we're always going to lose. You don't want to bring your family into it. You don't want to bring this into it, but you brought her family into it. How do I know that? Her husband was here the last meeting, like I said he would be. You owe her an apology, and I want everybody at home to understand this is the immaturity that this city deals with year after year, that this clown has been on the dais. And I concur with Chris and Roy. We've got to move this city forward, and we're not going to do it with a clown. We are very lucky that the people that are coming into this community selected Moreno Valley to give us that downtown area that we need. And you 5 up there, we've made some bonehead decisions in Moreno Valley over the years. This is a layup if you guys do not see what we need. I hope you guys really get it together, and the people at home, this clown, this child up here is the one that is making us a laughing stock in the IE. If you're going to vote, if you want to vote for a clown, I suggest you go to the circus. Let's do the right thing. Let's get the right developers in here, and let's get the right people to represent us properly.
The next 3 speakers are Mark Narcisse, followed by Cheyenne Narcisse, followed by Joanne Steffen.
Well, this is my first time here. I don't know any of the protocol. I'm just at the end of my line, and I was told to come here and see if I could get some help. I heard 2 things this evening that was important to me. One was the preacher talking about counsel. I believe in that as well. That's why I'm here. And then this young man here discouraged me a little bit because I feel like I'm in the wrong place because I don't know anyone's reputation here, but I'm going to proceed. I purchased a house in Moreno Valley in 1999. God has allowed me to maintain this house, maintain the mortgage, and be stationary. I contribute my taxes like I'm supposed to, because if I don't, there are consequences to that. So someone in Moreno Valley is benefiting off of that. Here is my issue. For the past 60 days, I've had about 10 incidents with a citizen who has started violence and or threats of violence against my family and I, and continued with a course of conduct that seriously alarmed, annoyed, and harassed us and caused substantial emotional distress. I've spoken with about 17 deputies out of the Moreno Valley Police Station who are Riverside County deputies, but I believe they are hired as police officers for this city. I've spoke to Miss Captain Mack. In the beginning, I had trust in her. I thought that she would help me. I still believe that she could help me, but it hasn't happened yet. So the reason that I came to this meeting, and I know they've been existing the whole time I've been living in the city, but like I said, I'm at my wind's end now. I need someone to direct me on who I can go to that will listen to the crimes that have been committed, that will look at the Ring camera footage that cannot lie and help me. And the reason being is because the last incident, my 6-year-old granddaughter was involved in it. And had the police followed state and or federal law, or even their department standards manual, I believe that this would have been nipped in the bud by now. So I'm here this evening to ask someone, somewhere, anybody, including God, for some help, because I don't want to be in a bad situation. And what that means, I don't want to end up dead. This has been so bad that my wife has doubled my life insurance, and none of this should take place. So please let me know who I can go to get help to remain healthy in this city.
Thank you, sir. And if you could please, if staff could make sure to make contact with him so we can get your contact information and share that with us as well. Thank you. Thank you for bringing that to our attention.
The next three speakers are Cheyenne Narcisse, followed by Joanne Steffen, followed by Luis Palomares.
So with just 3 minutes, hello everybody. I'm gonna go off of what Mr. Narcisse just said. Initially, I made my appearance today to request guidance for filing a complaint against local law enforcement. Then I heard the preacher say his scripture, which was unexpected, because if your officers acted or treated individuals with at least such empathy, perhaps we wouldn't be having this conversation today. However, this is not the case. I am a concerned citizen resident. This is regarding an ongoing issue regarding local law enforcement that I believe has resulted in a violation of our civil rights. Unfortunately, we have experienced repeated bias, harassment, unlawful searches, and inappropriate use of force on more than one occasion. These actions have raised serious concerns for our safety. I have relied on these individuals, law enforcement, to protect us and instead receive the opposite treatment. I would like to formally file a complaint against these officers involved. However, I am unsure of the correct procedure in doing so within this city. So if somebody can please direct me to the appropriate agency to file a complaint, or an independent oversight of this process that is above law enforcement. It is important to me and many others in this community that accountability and transparency is taken seriously. And that's it at this 1 minute. Because we call on law enforcement to be there for us, and when things are just taken out of line, it's just, how are we to feel safe? This community is not safe. This community needs cultural competency. A lot of these officers need to be reprimanded. I'm not sure if the attorney general needs to be involved, but something needs to be done. So when Mr. Narcisse, when you guys get with him, please get with me as well. And we've also made contact with Captain Mack, so she's aware. Thank you.
The next two speakers are Joanne Steffen, followed by Luis Palomares.
I'm here speaking as a 40-year resident. These comments are my own. I was listening to Mrs. Jones, and I thought she gave wonderful information about the services that will be being offered in our city. There's valuable resources that are desperately needed. The Bridge Wellness Center for the youth and young adults, I said, is a wonderful program because that's where it starts, is with the kids and the youth. And then before you know it, they become adults, and if they're still on the street, then they start using drugs. And so this program, and it is actually, it's been selected to be the one of the Riverside County's youth drop-in centers with youth navigation services under funding from the U.S. Department of HUD, which I was listening here. And then sometimes I come in and I just hear what people are saying, but this really, I thought it was a very valuable program that we're getting. And I really think that people should copy this and hand them out, because there's a lot of information on these pamphlets that is just invaluable as far as I'm concerned. As a mother, grandmother, and aunt, I mean, there's a lot of people that right now we're in dire straits in this country. Funding is being cut left and right All you have to do is open the news feed in the morning, close it at night, and you're hearing all kinds of programs. The big, wonderful bill, I don't know who named that one, but I heard that they're cutting, a lot of resources. So when you get something like this program, I mean, we need to really get the word out that it's here, it's in our city, and people can utilize it because they're having a lot of really nice things. I mean, they're going to have media arts labs, including music recording studios, photo and video production, editing equipment, green screen, access to high-speed fiber optic internet, and 8 computer workstations with Mac and PCs. I mean, come on. That is something that we should be applauding here. And if people weren't listening to Mrs. Jones, they really need to get in contact with her. And like I said, I may do a bunch of these and hand them out because there's a lot of youth on those streets. And some of them, don't want the help. And there's some that just don't know there is help. And that's where I'm at. And it's really sad to me. I've been here 40 years, like I said, and to hear some of these people having a lot of issues with residents and law enforcement, it really makes me sad.
The next speaker is Luis Palomares.
Luis Palomares, community activist. Wow. Sadiq, you hit a home run out of the park. I was going to say a lot of what you said, so I won't repeat a lot of it. But I looked at the meeting, the end of it, closing comments from the mayor, Cabrera. That was a sorry-ass sorry, if you ask me. You kept including everybody, we and us, and why? You're the one that's been screwing up here. The last 3 meetings, insulting the women, Shalinda, and even the Ed. You couldn't even look them in the eye when you were saying, supposedly, I'm sorry. Look at that meeting. You went like this, you went like that. You didn't even look them in the eye, like you looked them in the eye when you were reading them the riot act. Shame on you. You never look at it. You never look at the people up here. You never look at the speakers, unless they're your hand-picked speakers, unless it's somebody you want. Sorry? I don't think so. I doubt it very much. You're only sorry you got caught. That's what you're sorry. You're sorry people came here and exposed you. That's what you're sorry about. You're sorry people came in, told you what the deal is. We're not taking it anymore. That's what you're sorry about. And then you got the hand-picked guy right here, Gonzalez. He's your Pinocchio puppet here. He's over there parking on the other side. Can I use your parking now, Gonzalez? You don't use it. Can I? I remember when the mayor wasn't here. He wasn't here yet. You were out there on the phone. I'll wait until you get, so they can have a quorum, so they can do what they had to do with the recognitions. He just got in from the gym. Wow. You were out there parked on the other side. Can I use your parking now? You're his boy. And then Colby, and at one of the last meetings, he was saying, I seen the big fireworks over there. The council has to get with it. We don't act like that here. Really, really, really? The big fireworks? The mayor has to get with it. He's the one that's starting all the fireworks. If it's not his way with 3 votes, he's telling everybody what he wants, how they should do it. Even the staff, he gets in with the staff. They're trying to say, wait, reason with him. You can't reason with him. Like I said, he's still that little boy. He's still that 7-year-old little boy behind his mom's skirt, running from daddy when he wants to give him a good one. Really, really. And I hope at the end of this, you don't try to clean it up. Because really today, I would wish you would really look at the person and say you're sorry. Say you're sorry to the 2 council women. I say you're sorry to Ed face to face, like a real man would. Please do that. Do that, and I can have a little bit of, I could believe a little bit. Maybe you mean it. Thank you.
Mayor, that concludes all of public comments on items not on tonight's agenda.
Thank you very much, Madam Clerk, and thank you to all of our public speakers as well for coming out this evening. We will go ahead and move into item J, which is the joint consent calendars. Before I open the consent calendar for public comment, I will bring it back to the dais and look to my colleagues to see if there are any items that they wish to remove from the consent calendar for separate action.
I have two that I'd like to comment on, but not for separate action.
Understood. Are there any requests to remove any items for separate action? And then the comments, maybe we can go through those for deliberation after the public comment. Okay, if there are no further requests, then we will go ahead and move into the public comment portion of this item. Madam Clerk, do we have any requests to speak on the consent calendar?
We do, Mayor. The first speaker is Christopher Baca.
Good evening again. Back several decades, the city actually owned their own slurry equipment, and I'm sorry, the item regarding the pavement and the resurfacing. I forgot what that is. Yeah, I-14. So anyhow, back several decades, the city owned their own equipment and basically went from one end to the other. I don't see why the city cannot reintroduce such a thing and buy their own equipment and have their own department and start from one end of the city. And by the time they're done, they'll need to start all over again instead of spending these astronomical costs to American Asphalt that does a crappy job. Some of this stuff, I'm sure Elena agrees with me on Zena. All they did was paint it black. That's all they do is paint. You know, I know some of them they do scrape, but the majority of them they just scrape them. I mean, they just paint them black with a thin coat of tar, and that's just a bunch of BS. And a lot of the streets already, you spend millions, tens, and maybe hundreds of millions of dollars repaving, re-asphalting. And it don't last but a couple years. It's already ready. Some of the stuff that, the street were in such horrible state for so many years, and you finally got the funding for it. You should have just bought your own equipment and have your own department, have the city, it's just, the city is, you need to grow up. There's so many things that this city needs to do rather than just push the buck to the other side and, go do it the easy way. We need some leadership here. We really need some leadership. This is just BS, spending these astronomical amounts of money, not only for nonsense that you can do yourself, but giving money away to special interests, probably corruption, probably bribes.
The next two speakers are Rick DeJong, followed by IE Informer.
Hello. Thank you for giving me an opportunity to speak. I am a Steeplechase Drive resident, and I understand that a big paving project is coming this way. Most of the residents on our street, including myself, would prefer to keep the pine trees and the median the way they are. But we understand that progress being what it is, and the street being in the condition that it is, that's probably not going to happen. So I'm here to tell you that myself and a group of residents approve of what was shown us in the multiple meetings that we've had, and we think that it's a good alternative, including because it leads to paving the street and the new gutters. However, I would like to see irrigation in that project, and planting without irrigation, we're going to be back in the same condition that we're in before. And when they planted these pine trees decades ago, they didn't put any irrigation. So they looked great for a while, and then after decades, the pine roots rise up to the street and look for water, end up buckling the street. We're going to just repeat the same problems that we have now. So we're for the changes, we're for the new trees, we're for the median, but we really prefer to have irrigation so that it maintains a good look. Thank you.
The next speaker is IE Informer.
Welcome back. I'm going to talk on I-5 authorization agreement for veterinarian service for the Moreno Valley Animal Shelter. Another layup for you guys. As you guys know, we are inundated with a bunch of animals that are running around, and our animal shelter is doing the best that they can. I think Rick Freeze is still the director there, doing a phenomenal job with his staff. But the reason I have a question with this approval of $1.5 million for a 5-year period, if you do the math, that's $300,000 a year to this one veterinarian clinic. And I was at the clinic today. And you guys know I have a bunch of animals and I do the best I can, whatever. But the problem that I have with the veterinarian in doing that, I think that we can expand that and have more veterinarians, because when you go there to get services, to adopt an animal, if you need a surgery or certain things, you might wait 3 or 4 weeks before you get an appointment and stuff like that. So we got to really strategically think outside the box here and say, well, yeah, we've got this one guy that's contracted there, but why don't we have other options so that residents who do adopt animals can go and get the services that they need at other veterinarian spots that's contracted by the city? I think that would be a smarter way to do the money. And I guess in the press enterprise, they were talking about Riverside is coming up with a no-kill policy in the county itself. We need to start looking into that as well. I know animals come in and, oh, to put them down. Oh, it's a pit bull, put them down. Oh, it's a stray cat, put it down, what all these things that we have going. So, there's a lot of animal lovers in this city. There's just a lot. The farmer, Miss Baca, she had a whole kit and caboodle, okay, of animals. And she talked about them, and I just think we need, with all the money that we are, and I'm not saying we're throwing it away, but we're basically throwing the cabbage out there. Hey, here's the money, here's the money, here's the money. Let's invest in getting some more of these businesses, these veterinarians, to contract with the city so that the residents could go and get the services they need. Because I can tell you, in Edgemont, sometimes people go there, they'll adopt an animal. It's too expensive or whatever, or sometimes they have a receipt to go get the surgery, but because they've got to wait 3 or 4 weeks and they got to get on the job, they just forget it all entirely. And next, the cat's pregnant and we've got like 7 kittens running around, do what we got to do. So I'm not saying don't do and authorize it, but we need to expand this a little bit as we are expanding the shelter. Thank you.
Mayor, that concludes public comments.
Thank you very much, Madam Clerk. So we'll go ahead and move into the next. Is there another speaker? Oh, yeah, we are still on public comment, so yes, please come on up. If you want, you could fill that out after. No worries. If you could just tell us which item you're speaking on.
I don't know what item is, but Steeplechase, the construction on Steeplechase there. Item 14, yeah, I happen to live there and was thinking about it and wanted to say a few words if I can find my notes here. There they are. Good evening, everybody. Thank you for taking the time tonight. My name is Donnie Wilson, and I live on Steeplechase. And on behalf of myself and many of our neighbors who are heartbroken over the plan to remove the trees from the center dividers there. These trees are not a problem to be solved. They are part of what makes our street feel like a home. They provide shade in the hot summer and long days. They slow the traffic naturally, and the beauty adds character to our city, our street, and we have enough asphalt and concrete in this area as it is. When you drive down a street and see those trees arching overhead, and you feel like you're in a community, you're in a neighborhood, not just a road. My 8-year-old, rides his bike up and down beneath those trees and walk our dogs. Last night, a couple of us saying hi to each other, and they've given shade for decades. These trees have quietly added to the peace and calm and charm of our everyday lives. We understand that there are concerns about the street damage, but we believe there are solutions that don't require cutting down something so valuable and add life to the neighborhood. Perhaps we could work on barriers or pruning or selective pavement work. I like the bumps. It keeps people from running over my kids too quick. Amen. I already put street signs out, and I would rather have the natural speed bumps, and that's okay with me. Please don't take away something that connects us to each other, to our past, and the beauty of our city. Once they're gone forever. And something very special will be lost in my wonderful neighborhood and my city. Thank you.
That concludes public comments. Mayor.
Thank you very much, Madam Clerk. So with that, we'll go ahead and move into deliberation or any final questions, and then a vote from the dais. So we'll bring it back. I do have some comments, but I believe Councilmember Delgado had a few comments on some items.
Just at I-5, I agree that there is a shortage of help, but we are doing an amazing job. And I know that, Donovan, because I'm on the Riverside County Animal Shelter ad hoc, and one of our priorities is a no-kill, but that's kind of coming down the road. But our focus in Q2, which is now, include fee waiving and operating hour policy changes, so we have more access to our shelter. Updating the at-risk process, expanding foster care programming, enhancing pet support options, expanding volunteer opportunities, and improving shelter signage and client flow. So there are a lot of things that we're working on, and the extension of the contract for our veterinarian is just one aspect of that. Our veterinarian is absolutely busy. 100% of his time in Moreno Valley is doing our animals justice. So I agree that there's still a lot of work to be done, and that's why this ad hoc was created. So I'm with you. I'm an animal lover as well. I think most of us are. So just know that we care enough that we're putting more money into the animal services here. So I did just want to say that, and I think that this money is well spent, and I'm sure that my colleagues will comment or have comments on that. So the next item that I'd like to just make a quick comment on is I-13, the fencing underneath the underpasses of the freeway. We have one in Moreno Valley, and that's on Pigeon Pass. You drive through Pigeon Pass, go to Home Depot, go to In-N-Out, go to Farmer Boys, and you will see no trash under the freeway. You will see zero trash. And now I challenge you to look and then compare that to the other Day Street and Heacock. And there's constant trash. And we in so much that we have every Monday and every Friday, we have a crew going and picking up trash off the sidewalk, city sidewalk, because folks are up underneath the underpasses, and that's where all the trash goes down. So adding fencing to that is invaluable. It's going to pay for itself with the amount of labor and equipment we use to clean up twice a week under the Heacock and Day Street city sidewalks, but under the underpasses. So, and I know there's a program that we're working with Caltrans on for reimbursement. So I think with that program and this fencing coming together for this city is going to make those underpasses absolutely passable for pedestrians and our traffic. So I support 100% support I-13. So that's it.
Thank you. And I did have just, yes, I'll come to you as well. Yes. And just make sure that, to see if my other colleagues have comments as well. But to follow up on I-13, I won't repeat everything that's been said, but I agree that will help us to just add another tool really to help us address homelessness, especially along the freeways, which is a constant issue. So agree with the comments there on I-13. Also, just to highlight, I-6 is receipt of grant funding. It's approximately $134,000. That is funding that comes down from the federal government and then goes to the state government as well to help us with infrastructure and emergency preparedness. So just wanted to highlight that. Thank you to staff for securing that for us. And then the last one is I-14. That's the Citywide Pavement Rehabilitation Program. That's approximately $11 million. This is something that we do every year, and the funding comes through SB1, more commonly known as the gas tax. And we are funding approximately $11 million of road repavement work and maintenance work around the city. And I know there have been some questions about, sometimes it's not full pavement, and I'm definitely not an expert, and I don't want to go into too much detail. I'll leave that to our public works folks. But, we have what's called a PCI, the Pavement Condition Index, and really that's probably one of the most important variables or factors that staff points to when deciding what type of work will be done on a particular road. Sometimes the road is not in the best condition, but it's also not in a condition where it needs full pavement, and it could still be, the life of the pavement can be extended for a few more years if slurry is used, for example. And so if anybody wants to take a look at the map and see which specific roads are going to be maintained or repaved, you can look at our agenda. It's under the consent calendar, item I-14, and you could take a look at that map. You'll see the roads that are highlighted in red are the ones that are being funded this time around. So just wanted to make sure to highlight those items on the consent calendar. And then we'll go to Mayor Pro Tem.
Regarding I-14, I just want to say that I think the roads here are so much better than our neighboring cities. Residents in other cities have told me, wow, you guys have like the smoothest roads in the area. I know once I leave to Day Street, it's like bump, 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 and the trash. So you guys have been doing an excellent job with the rehabilitation. But I think it is, we do so much now. We used to do like $2 million a year, and now we are doing like 20 million and 50 million. So maybe it is time that we maybe look at bringing that in-house. That was a good idea. The underpasses, absolutely, I get off on Pigeon Pass. That's my exit. But when I do go to Day Street, I call Ed right away. Hey, clean up your your underpass. And I call in Hecock. So with those three, those are the exits I take. They're constantly calling. But please, if you see it, use the app. I'm using the app. With all of us reporting, our city staff is so quick at getting out there and cleaning up illegal dumping, graffiti, carts. We're quick at it. So if we could all do our part and report it on the app, that would help. I do have a question for CM Mohan regarding the animal shelter. Why is there only one veterinarian?
Currently, well, thank you, Mayor Pro Tem, for the question. Currently, the item tonight is only approving one veterinarian because when staff went through a request for proposal period, which was began in February of 2025, we were out there in the market for a while. We request bids for these particular services. This was the only vendor that actually responded to our bids for proposals. The unfortunate thing in talking with the animal services is that you don't typically have veterinarians that are willing to work with shelters. There's veterinarians up and down every street in every jurisdiction in Southern California, but they make their own money when people go to them. And when they are doing work with various jurisdictions that have animal shelters, it's typically at a lower dollar amount, lower service amount, and therefore they're not making as much as they can if they were in their own private practice. So we literally only had one. Luckily, the one that we do have is one that has been with us for some time, and so we're just trying to continue that particular agreement in this action tonight. But this is an issue with all animal shelters in this area. And it really is causing some animal shelters to shutter. Thank you.
Thank you for that so much. So once this is out, maybe we'll find some more animal lovers. So obviously this is a work of heart that our veterinarian has responded to our response, so I look forward to approving her. And to answer the question, my mom's animals continue to stay in the same house and search for her like I do every day. So thank you, Donovan.
Thank you. And before we call for a motion and a second, we'll look to the other side of the dais to see if there's any comments, any questions. If not, we can go ahead and entertain a motion and a second.
I'll motion to approve the consent calendar.
Second.
Okay, there's a motion and a second. Madam Clerk, please call for the vote.
Thank you, Mayor. Councilmember Bernard,
Yes.
Councilmember Gonzalez,
Yes.
Councilmember Delgado,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Bacasana Cruz,
Yes.
and Mayor Cabrera.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. That motion carries unanimously. And next up, we will go to item J, which is public hearings. And we do have item J1, which is Town Center at Moreno Valley Specific Plan, consisting of GPA and change of zone, specific plan, TTM, and related CEQA analysis. And we will start off by turning it over to Community Development for a staff report.
Good evening. Thank you, Honorable Mayor and members of the City Council. Angelica Fraustolipo, Community Development Director. So as mentioned, this item is a specific plan, a Town Center at Moreno Valley specific plan, which includes the following: general plan amendment, change of zone, the specific plan, tentative track map, and related CEQA analysis. And for the benefit of the community, I would like to emphasize that a specific plan is a planning tool which identifies zoning and development standards for a specific geographic area. So this project represents a major step in the city's vision for a downtown mixed-use center. The vision of the Town Center at Moreno Valley is to create a walkable urban downtown environment that provides a sense of place and serves both residents and visitors. The project proposes to establish standards to guide the development of a town center and carry out the goals of the 2006 General Plan. The General Plan articulates a vision for the city by creating a sense of community, providing amenities, and promoting a safe and healthy environment. The specific plan proposes a mixed-use development with a variety of potential uses. For the purposes of defining the project for environmental review, staff assumed a project build-out scenario comprising of the following. But first, I do want to mention that these are approximations. Up to 800 residential dwelling units, 105,890 square feet of general retail, 20,160 square feet of retail dining, including drive-through options, 15,000 square feet of business professional office space, a 106-room hotel, a 30,000 square foot civic center, and 4.9 acres of public park area. In regards to the residential component, the project will offer a variety of housing types and include approximately 100 affordable units. I would like to mention that the purchase and sale agreement identified the residential component between 300 to 700 units, or as otherwise agreed by the city and the buyers, and also as approved by the entitlements. In regards to the parks and open space, the specific plan incorporates open space to provide local serving amenities, quality of life enhancements, and recreational opportunities by providing both active and passive park areas. Following are a couple of items to note. The Moreno Valley Municipal Code, Quimby Ordinance, requires residential subdivisions to dedicate parkland and/or the payment of in lieu fees. These fees cannot be used for park maintenance. Through the development of 4.9 acres of open space in this project and the payment of the in lieu fees, the project will comply with the city's Quimby Ordinance. The Quimby fees will help the city's parks, community services, and trails master plan adopted by the City Council in December 2023. The master plan identifies park needs such as a regional sports center, but lacks funding. Developers who pay the in lieu fees help provide funds for these projects in the master plan. Here we have the vicinity map. The project site encompasses approximately 69.6 acres and is bounded by Cottonwood Avenue to the north, Alessandro Boulevard to the south, and Nason Street to the east. The site is centrally located within the city and is within 1 mile of State Route 60, providing regional connectivity with I-215, located approximately 5.3 miles to the west. I want to provide a bit of background on how we got to this point. The site was purchased in 1985 and was initially identified by the city for use as a potential civic center. However, since that time, the city has established an amazing civic center here at our current location with the Conference and Recreation Center, the Public Safety Building, and the amphitheater. In 2015, the city began the Nason Street Corridor Study, which was to develop a comprehensive strategy for the city-owned land there at Nason and Alessandro. The study recommended a town center with opportunities for commercial and mixed-use development with public gathering spaces. In November 2019, the city prepared and distributed a request for proposals for the development of the town center project. The RFP outlined the City Council's goals and strategy for the site developed through the Nason Street Corridor Study. The city was looking for innovative development proposals from qualified firms for the opportunity to transform that northwest corner of Nason and Alessandro. In other words, a developer who can bring the highest and best use to the site while meeting the city's goals and vision. The Lewis Acquisition Company was selected as the developer in March 2020 and entered into a purchase and sale agreement with the city. The PSA, Purchase and Sale Agreement, reflects economic development as the #1 priority of the City Council for the Town Center project and requires the project to satisfy the City Council's goals and vision for the site, including restaurants, shops, office buildings, a hotel, public amenities such as parks, open space, and of course, the residential component. The purchase and sale agreement was very specific in describing the city's goals for the project. A quality mixed-use project with housing, retail sales, hotel revenue, and community amenities. Staff and applicant have worked closely to ensure the terms of the purchase and sale agreement are being met with the specific plan before you this evening. As part of the project, the city has secured a 40,000 square foot parcel designated for civic uses such as an innovation technology library or a memory lab for personal archiving of projects or media lab or makerspace that will be determined by the City Council at a future time. The PSA also requires up to 1,400 square feet of building space for a police substation, coordination with the city's Burke to promote local hiring through job fairs and other resources, public gathering spaces, park and open space, public art installations, and provisions for future public building leases. Here we have the location map. The site is surrounded by a mix of uses, single-family residential to the north and west, religious and educational facilities to the east, additional residential uses to the south. The property is currently vacant and undeveloped, offering a prime infill development opportunity in line with the city's growth strategies. The project includes a general plan amendment to change the land use designation from public facilities to a combination of open space, commercial, and residential uses, with residential densities up to 30 units per acre. This amendment aligns with the city's goal of accommodating future growth in a sustainable and balanced manner. Here we have the proposed zoning map. The rezoning component changes the designation from public facilities with a mixed-use district overlay to downtown center specific plan, establishing a regulatory framework to implement the specific plan's vision. This zoning is tailored to support a dense, mixed-use environment conducive to pedestrian activity. The plan is organized into distinct planning areas. Again, these numbers are approximations. 36.5 acres dedicated to residential development, 15.9 acres for commercial and civic uses, and 4.9 acres for public parks and open space. The traffic circle is not part of the approximate 4.9 acres of public parks, but it is in green because it will include some landscaping. The design emphasizes integrated site planning and cohesive architectural and landscape themes to foster a strong sense of place. And here we have the tentative track map. The TTM facilitates subdivision of the site into primary planning areas, laying the groundwork for phased development. Key infrastructure improvements include completing Bay Avenue and introducing a new north-south connector road, which together will enhance internal and external circulation. And for the record, I do want to mention that you have received a memo from staff identifying some corrections. And the first is a correction to condition of approval number 102. Next is a correction on the final EIR date. And the third is a clarification on property ownership. We also have the memo, copies of the memo here for anyone interested from the public. And so with that, staff recommends that the City Council adopt resolution number 2025, the next number in line, adopting the CEQA finding of fact, adopting the mitigation monitoring and reporting program prepared for the proposed project pursuant to CEQA and the CEQA guidelines, adopting the statement of overriding considerations pursuant to CEQA and the CEQA guidelines, and certifying the final environmental impact report prepared for the proposed project pursuant to CEQA and the CEQA guidelines. 2, adopt resolution number 2025, next in line, approving general plan amendment and general plan land use map amendment, Pen 25-0007, approving tentative track map number 38421, Pen 22-0077, and co-authoring the city manager, CD director, and city attorney to approve and execute any necessary amendments to the purchase and sale agreement consistent with the project's approved entitlements. And 3, introduce ordinance number next in line and conduct the first reading by title only, approving change of zone, Pen 21-0335, approving specific plan, Pen 21-0334, and approving an amendment to the city's zoning atlas or map based on the applicable recitals, evidence contained in the administrative record, and findings. And that does conclude my presentation. And I'm here, and staff is here as well to answer any questions you may have. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Director. Appreciate the staff report there. And next, we will bring it back to the dais for any council questions of staff. I'll look to my colleagues here to see if there's any questions. Looks like Mayor Pro Tem. Yes, questions of council.
I was going to answer your questions. Angelica?
Yes.
I had seen that there was going to, like you said, there was going to be 300 to 700 residential units, but now it's showing 800 units. So can you tell us where those additional units?
Yes. When the project was first initially discussed through the purchase and sale agreement, the developer had initially proposed between 300 and 700 units. However, since that time, we have added an additional 100 residential units for affordable housing, and that's where we're at, the 800.
Could those units be like sprinkled throughout the project, or are they required to, like, can you elaborate about those affordable units?
Sure. The city actually has had several conversations with the state HCD, Housing and Community Development. And in fact, we're in an agreement with HCD to have those 100 units on the same parcel or, together.
Mayor Pro Tem, just to additionally add, the reason why the city had to enter into conversations with HCD is because of an amendment to the Surplus Land Act legislation that occurred long about 2020, 2021. And what that did require is that when you go through a process of this nature, that 15% of the residential units must be affordable. In this particular case, because of the fact that there is a range, the agreement with HCD is 15% affordable, but no fewer than 100 affordable units. And so those will be basically in a separate parceled out during escrow and the actual sale of this particular parcel to the developer.
And then regarding could you go back to the green where we could see the public areas? Open space. That strip, is that like a sidewalk, like 5 feet wide, or no? You were right. You were on the right one. Right there. Is that like? I have some residents ask me about that. Are we counting that as open space? Is it just like a 5-foot sidewalk, or is that actually open space?
The linear space that
Linear
you see there.
space.
Yes, so that does count as part of the open space park area. And that space can actually also be developed as active space by, adding different amenities. But the width of the area there, my understanding is about 50 feet.
Okay, so then this picture is a little bit deceiving. It looked like a walkway. So 50 feet is wider than this room, right? So we could develop that into active space.
And simply because it's a linear, it's depicted as a linear line, and it's hard to tell the dimensions and the actual size. But yes, absolutely can be developed as active.
And Mayor Pro Tem, additionally, just so viewers at home and viewers here in the chamber, that is actually, that little sliver of green running along the red parcel there is actually 1.3 acres. So when you look at acreage, that's considerable. When you look at the green above the red, that's 3.5 acres. So when you look at the acreage, it is considerable. It's just very hard to denote it on the screen.
Hopefully, I would like to see some like exercise equipment, like similar to like Santiago Park, something that we could make use of that, not just like the circle in the middle of we want to be able to use the open land.
That's duly noted. Basically, what happens is Parks Development works with the developer as the entitlements are approved. They'll work through the developer and see what the developer can do with park and active park. And so they'll come to an agreement at a later date, but we'll duly noted.
Thank you so much. This concludes my questions.
Angelica, I know that things change as far as aesthetics and the way things are going to be kind of separated and put in, but the commercial civic area, do you have a rendering of that on this PowerPoint that the public could see?
There's
and again, that it could change as far as what it may look like, the finished product, but
this is a very, very initial conceptual rendering. And this is the only one that the developer has at this time.
So in their minds, though, this is something that that area would look like. If they handed this over to us to present, this is something, and we could talk to the developer later, but I think that's amazing that plus there's no, we don't even see the park space, the open space on this rendering, but if that was what we're gonna get, I think it's pretty positive for the city. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other questions from the dais for staff? Seeing none, we'll go ahead and move into the public testimony portion.
Yeah, actually, Mayor, because this is a project that's coming forward, I'm sorry, but we need to allow the applicant a presentation. Then we can open up public hearing, and then they also have a rebuttal time. I'm sorry that it wasn't on the script, and we will make sure that that will be in the future. But if you could allow some time for a presentation from our developer.
Absolutely. Welcome. Good evening.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor, members of the City Council. Excuse my voice. My name is Joseph Edwards, and I'm with the Lewis Group of Companies. Thank you for the opportunity to speak to you this evening. We are extremely excited to be at this point tonight to talk about our Town Center project. I'd like to first thank staff for their due diligence in helping us get to this point. Sean Kelleher, Sean, I didn't call you Scott, I apologize. Angelica and Emily have been great in helping us get through this maze of documentation to get before you this evening. By way of background, the Lewis Group of Companies is one of the largest developers in the United States. We are a privately owned real estate development company. We are headed in the Inland Empire, and we are located within the city of Upland, and we have offices in Sacramento, Reno, and Las Vegas. And since 1955, we have developed over 13,000 apartments, which we retain in our portfolio, 4,200 acres of planned communities, which represent about 58,000 homes, about 5.7 million square feet of office and industrial, and over 9 million square feet of retail centers. Some of the major developments include, and you may have heard of some of these, the Preserve in Chino, Park Place in Ontario, and Victoria Gardens, and the resort in Rancho Cucamonga. It's our goal to create a vibrant, mixed-use destination in the city of Moreno Valley that offers a landmark place for the community, a mixed-use project that could create an economic opportunity for the city, a development that in the coming years could evolve to address upcoming needs for the city of Moreno Valley, and a friendly environment where people can work, shop, and play. As was mentioned, in 2020, we were selected through an RFP process to develop this piece of property, and we're very excited to do that. I won't repeat the details associated with all of the project amenities, but I will say that this project will, in our view, bring great economic benefit and development to the city of Moreno Valley. We request your approval of the specific plan, the tentative map, certification of the EIR so we can get going on this project. We have a lot of work to do with your staff and your team to develop a site plan, and during that process, many of these questions will be answered. And in terms of the linear park, there was a question about, you see this green strip running along the street, what does that actually mean? There's an opportunity to incorporate that within the commercial center as well, creating plazas, open space areas, maybe gathering areas, amphitheater outdoor areas, et cetera, once we understand what the civic concept is going to consist of. So that concludes my comments. We have our development team available to answer any questions that you may have. And thank you very much for this opportunity.
Thank you very much. Really appreciate that. And I will bring it back to the dais just to see if there are any further questions, this time for the applicant. I don't see any, so thank you once again for coming up and elaborating a little bit more on that. And with that, we'll officially move into public comment on this item. Madam Clerk, do we have any requests to speak?
We do, Mayor. The first three speakers are Sal Mesquita, followed by the IE Informer, followed by Christopher Baca.
Good evening, Mayor, City Council staff. My name is Salvador Mesquita. I'm a representative with the Western States Regional Council of Carpenters. Represent about 5,600 members that live in Riverside County, and about a quarter of which live in the city of Moreno Valley. And we're here in support of this project. We're hoping to get some members to work here at home, and we hope you pass this project. Thanks.
The next two speakers are IE Informer, followed by Christopher Baca.
I really like that. A man of few words, get straight to the point, unlike myself. This project, I didn't hear anything about this project until I went to the Planning Commission. So citizens out there, it's not just the City Council. You have a Planning Commission you need to go to So, because what happens at the Planning Commission is usually final if it doesn't have to come back to the council. So it's very important that you know what is being built in your city. Now, for years, I've been here for 48 years. We've been building everything to warehousing, business, which is great. Of course, those businesses aren't creating the jobs that people really want to do, but that's okay. We're here now. A lot of us as residents, when the weekend comes, we are heading out of town. We're heading to Vegas. We're heading to Victoria Gardens. We're heading down to Lake Elsinore. We're taking that money and we are leaving. When I heard about this project at the Planning Commission, it's a no-brainer. I was like, oh my gosh, thank you. Finally, something for the citizens, not just the business owners, okay? And nothing against the business owner. I'm just saying the citizens, we need something to go to. Some of the things that this project is talking about, Civic Center. My God, man, why don't we move this dais from here to where this Civic Center is gonna be? Right now, we are surrounded by warehouses. Our city hall is surrounded by warehouses. What does that say about our city? I mean, it's got park, it's got retail. When I read the thing on this, I saw jobs. Not warehouse people, jobs of different types. And we're talking about walking in Moreno Valley. Who walks in Moreno Valley? Where are you gonna walk to? To what? Now we have an opportunity to do something for the residents, for the moms, the hardworking fathers and mothers that don't get no time. You don't have to get in your car and go. All these bike lanes we have, now I can take my bike and go somewhere, sit down, people watch. I almost feel like I'm in Orange County. This project is that good. And I want to end it with this. You can gauge that the city is going in the right direction. And I've said this before, Ed and Elena, you guys know I said this before. When you see Roy, Bob, Louise, Chris, and myself agreeing on something, you're headed in the right direction. There's no doubt about it. This is a layup. Please do not mess this up. Thanks.
The next speaker is Christopher Baca.
Afternoon again, or good evening. 100% in support of this project, and I just want to point out this is how professional developers conduct themselves. You don't have all the hula, the parading, the lobbyists, all the nonsense, the paid clergy, all the people that get bribes to come out here and promote. I'm talking about Highland Fairview, and promote nonsense. That's all that is over there with as far as Highland Fairview is concerned. When they got their projects over here, you got hundreds of people here promoting something that is just not even viable. He's not even going to build anything. You're going to have now he's has that second project that used to be Aquabella that now he's trying to make it a town center as well to mix it in there with this project. But anyhow, as far as this project is concerned, I think I'm very happy to see that he may have, I'm not sure, but if there's a workforce agreement as far as labor is concerned, that's one of the most important things. The other most important thing is the opportunities for low-income housing. And my concern with that is, as far as low-income housing is concerned, that should be primarily, especially if it's paid for by the taxpayers of this city, should be for people that live in the city. There was a problem with other low-income housing that was available, and they brought in, I'm sorry to say it, they brought in drug dealers and crackheads from Los Angeles, Victorville, Las Vegas. That's absolutely ridiculous. So as far as affordable housing, it needs to go to people in the community. As far as workforce agreements, it needs to go to labor. We need to get people that are from this community working in this community. So it looks like an absolutely great project, and I hope you do the compare whenever any of these nonsense Highland Fairview, whatever they are, whatever he's doing, who knows what he's doing, but you need to compare and see how the community comes out and supports these projects and how the developer conducts himself. Thank you.
The next speaker is Luis Palomares.
Luis Palomares, community activist. Wow, bring it on. We need this project. I'm all for it. I support it. It's going to bring a lot of revenue to the city, tax dollars, a lot of different stores we're going to need, and restaurants, housing, affordable housing. Wow, I'm waking up from the nightmare finally, it seems like. Thank you, Luis. I feel like saying Lewis and Clark, but Luis. When I say Luis, it reminds me of that other name. Okay, and also as far as Acapella, wow, bring it on. But that's going to be a long time coming. That's going to be a long time coming. These folks are going to take off running as soon as you do whatever you got to do. So that's a great thing. Acapella is going to take years to get here. So we're going to enjoy this. And when that comes, hey, great. We want that too. We need that. You know, it's a beautiful project. My hat's off to it whenever it gets here, 10 years later. So, you know, let's support the developer here. I hope we're going to get a 5-0 vote, I mean. And the carpenters, hopefully they'll get some of those jobs there. It'd be great, you know, because a lot of them live here in the city. It'd be a great thing. So I hope the council does the right thing and votes for it tonight, and let's take it. Thank you so much.
The next speaker is Roy Blecker.
Oh, Chris likes to talk about corruption. That property was bought in '92 by our old mayor, Any Burger but Nieberger. Bought the old Lance Grove for $3 million, and you know what? This building right here we're sitting in was supposed to be on that piece of property. It's about time we put a downtown in this area. We've talked about it. That's what the whole concept was 30 years ago. You mentioned 2015, the corridor. This city had just hired a new guy as economic director. His name was Mike Lee. And I sat and talked with him while everybody else was playing with their crayons in here. And what we talked about was exactly almost to a T of what you're seeing presented today. It's a shame we had to wait 10 years or 15 years when Henry Garcia basically had this plan too of doing it. This maybe can be the first building block where we finally move this city forward. We have an absolutely Class A plus developer and Lewis Group coming in here willing to invest in this community. How many times have people said they want Victoria Gardens in Moreno Valley? Well, here they are. One day, and maybe, and I hope this council, mayor, and staff finally start putting the plans together in place, because this should be the first building block in that whole area. We missed some opportunities to actually put the infrastructure in there to do, but if you keep delaying, that's going to make the process, slow it down even further. And Ms. Baca will remind you, most of the people that you guys supported put those policies in place to make affordable housing unaffordable, and that's why we're dealing with this. A lot of this stuff, you don't think it's important who we vote for and who we support politically? You're seeing the consequences of it now. The state of California is mandating stuff that we should have a decision for. Somebody probably derives a lot of income from the guy that's really pushing this stuff. So let's pass this project. Let's look forward. Let's start tomorrow filling in the rest of the deal, and maybe before I'm looking at the roots of the grass, we will see a downtown in my native area of Moreno Valley.
Mayor, that concludes public testimony on this item.
Thank you very much, Madam Clerk. And with that, we'll go ahead and bring it back to the dais for deliberation. And I do have a few things that I would like to share about the project. And number one, want to say thank you, first and foremost, to...
Excuse me, Mayor. Can we at least give the developer at least a rebuttal?
Rebuttal?
Yes.
Yeah,
Sorry, it
gotta
wasn't
make sure
in the
it's in the
script,
script
and I
next time.
apologize for that. So,
Yeah.
but I do want to give them their due process, please.
Okay. Welcome back.
Thank you, Mayor. I have no further comments. Thank you.
Made it easy for us. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, so I'll segue into a thank you, first to the developer, the applicant, to the Lewis group of companies, Lewis Homes, and the entire team there. As has been said already this evening, the Lewis company is an example of how to develop, right? How to bring a project to a city, to a community, especially in a part of town that, that's where all the new development is going. And the residents on that side of town especially want to see more shopping and dining and entertainment and public facilities. And you're bringing that, you're making that happen. And I wish, it would have been built by now, but things happen. And, 4 years later after the initial approval, we're here. Hopefully it will get approved and we'll be able to see this built pretty soon, sooner rather than later. And also thank you to staff, because a lot of work went into this, and you had to, over the last 4 years, do a lot of work to get it back to us here. And hopefully this is the last time that it is here before us. And again, we can get this thing built. So thank you to all the departments, all the time that you put in reviewing the documents and putting this together so that it could come back to our agenda for a vote. On the housing, really glad to see that there's a mixture, there's a combination of market rate and affordable housing. There's affordable units in there, approximately 100. So really, really glad to see that. It is a mixed use project. And one of the examples that was shared by the applicant was Victoria Gardens. I'm sure most of us, if not all of us, have at one point or another gone to shop at Victoria Gardens, and you see the quality of the type of development that is. And we're finally going to have something like that over here on the East End. So really, really excited about that. And the 40,000 or so square foot pad that is going to be set aside for civic use. In the staff report or the presentation, there was kind of some mentions of possible uses or public facilities that could go there. And absolutely think that this is a huge opportunity that we should not pass up, and we need to find every tool, financially or otherwise, to develop that 40,000 square foot pad into a combination of, some kind of senior center, right? Folks are always asking for another senior center, which we need. This is a possible opportunity to bring one to the east side of town. Is there opportunity for another rec center? Another recreation center? We have one which is heavily used, but is this an opportunity for us to build a second one that is desperately needed, especially for the youth in that area? You have Valley View High School right down the street. You have Mountain View Middle School down the street. The pump track that is being built as we speak right around the corner. So a lot of possibilities, but we'll have those future conversations and figure out what that looks like. Really glad to see a partnership with labor, with the carpenters. Thank you all for coming out, and thank you to the developer for making that commitment. And I know that the Lewis Company is not only are you in the business of building quality developments, but also on the philanthropic side. Hopefully in the future there will be opportunities similar to like the Fontana Library and Technology Center or other projects where you all have been so generous to communities. Hopefully we can have those conversations in the future about potential partnerships on the philanthropic side as well. And just want to close in, again, saying that I really, really think this is a excellent project. Super excited to support this. hopefully the council will approve it. And again, want to see sticks going vertical, want to see this thing get built. So I'll end my comments on that note. And we'll go to Councilmember Gonzalez.
First, I want to thank staff for all the hard work they've put the last 4 years in getting us here, and also to the Lewis Group in their vision of this property and what it means to the residents of Moreno Valley, especially to because it is in the heart of the city. It's going to be something that a lot of neighbors, residents have been clamoring for. The lack of restaurants, of the lack of civic opportunities to be in one centrally located place. It's something we need. The shopping, the nightlife also component where many people don't have that opportunity here in Moreno Valley. It's very fragmented or not in a centralized location. So I'm really excited how it's eventually gonna the ultimate design, the ultimate outcome of this area. It's going to be a catalyst for different things on the east side of Moreno Valley in District 3. So I'm super excited for that. Also, if there's other, as the mayor mentioned, other civic institutions or opportunities that can be located here. So there's that city Moreno Valley presence in this area, because that's important that the residents feel that the city's present there as well, with a public type component. Also the affordable housing, that's super important, that affordable housing and market rate components are together, especially in this downtown center type development or design. It's a good opportunity for different families with different incomes, that they share the space together, so they're able to congregate and enjoy the beautiful city that Moreno Valley will be and will become in the very near future. And again, labor that is also here in this area. So it's great. It's hopefully my colleagues and my peers here feel the same way, and it's a great opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Bernard.
Thank you. So I would also like to thank you all for coming in here. I know this project has been a long time coming, and to have, we've said this multiple times up here, that we do have a need to have multiple civic centers across the city. I know my favorite department back there. That's right. I'm always here for you, Jeremy. My favorite department back there would love the option to be able to take things to other parts of the city. It's a conversation that's always happening, especially on the east end of town. So I appreciate that, and I appreciate you all seeing it through with the many changes that kept coming about, and being willing and open to work with city staff to get that done. I also am very happy to know that there was the ability for everyone to be able to work together. To possibly have a local hire statute come in here. I know we have a number of people that like to work where they live. I, for one, can tell you I enjoyed that luxury for about 12 years at the County of Riverside, and have now transferred it up the street to UCR. So on a good day, it's a solid 20 minutes. But I do know how important that is to not spend that time on the freeways, and to be able to spend more time with your family and be accessible to them. So my hats are off to everyone, the Lewis Group, the Carpenters, for being able to work with them on that, and city staff for making this happen and being able to see this all the way through. This process was not easy. And as you can see, this started in 1985. There was some amendments being done in 2015, and here we are in 2025. So again, thank you, and my hats are off to everyone.
Thank you. Councilmember Delgado.
So I'm not going to kind of repeat everything that's said. I know that Edward's got to get to bed. It's past his bedtime. But I will also thank the Lewis Group and city staff. I know behind the scenes you guys worked very hard on getting this done. Our city attorney working with the Lewis Group attorneys to get this done, because there was a hiccup. This would have been done years ago, but there was legislation that changed that made us go back to the table. And the best part of this whole entire process is the Lewis Group went back to the table. They fixed whatever we were asking them to fix. And I don't even mean something was broken. I mean the legislation changed. So then you guys said, well, what do we got to do? And you did it. We worked with some difficult developers, and you're not one of them. So thank you guys very much. And city staff, congrats. If this passes tonight, long time coming, check this off your list and then move on to the next one. Thank you.
Yeah, Mayor Pro Tem.
I'd just like to motion to approve the project as presented.
I'll second the motion. All righty, there is a motion and a second. Madam Clerk, please call for the vote.
Thank you, Mayor. Councilmember Bernard?
Yes.
Councilmember Gonzalez?
Yes.
Councilmember Delgado?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Box Santa Cruz?
Yes.
And Mayor Cabrera?
Yes.
Thank
That
you.
motion carries unanimously. Next up, we will go ahead and move right into J2. Thank you so much, everybody, for coming out this evening. You don't have to stay. You can if you want to, but I'm sure you got dinner waiting for you at home. So thanks again for joining us. Item J2 is a public hearing and adoption of the capital improvement plan and budget for fiscal years 25-26 and 26-27. And we'll turn it over to the City Manager's Office, City Manager Brian Mohan, for a staff report.
Thank you, Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, council members. The item before you tonight is a continuation of the May study session, along with the approval from the Planning Commission on May 8th of 2025 related to the CIP budget and CIP document. Per Government Code 66002, which requires the plan to be approved by a resolution at a public hearing. That is why this is before you in that manner tonight. To give you a brief overview of the CIP document and the CIP budget, currently within this particular actionable item tonight, there are 66 new projects, which follows the Momentum Oval strategic priorities. For the first year of funding, we're looking at $55.8 million. And for the second year of funding of our two-year budgetary cycle, we're looking at $44 million. So $99.8 million, or roughly $100 million worth of funding for our projects. Please keep in mind that the unfunded projects still exceeds $2.4 billion. So we're still chipping away at that, but that is what happens when you have a very large city such as us. We're the 20th largest city in the state of California, and we have over billions of dollars of assets, and so those have to be maintained. Obviously, staff recommends the approval of recommendations number 2 and 3 of all the various entities and their respective individual resolutions. The CM office would like to thank Melissa Walker, Harold Zamaro, Quang Nguyen, Natalia Lopez, all of Financial Resources Division Division, Dina Hild, and all the departments and divisions as well for their efforts and understanding that we do have scarce resources when it comes to funding, and that we use the Momentum Oval strategic priorities to provide us a guiding light as to how we move forward with our projects. The one thing I do want to make a comment on, as there have been several comments related to Highland Fairview and with regards to or related to Alessandro Boulevard and what their requirements are. As this particular projects, the list of projects and your approval of the pavement rehab funding tonight, HF has a development agreement which requires them to construct all circulation-related improvements related to Alessandro and their development in the WLC specific plan. What the city has right now and what we're doing with our ongoing maintenance of roads in that area, not only within the WLC development area, but along Alessandro Boulevard in its entirety. City crews were regularly patching potholes as well as various maintenance to try and extend the life of Alessandro Boulevard in its entirety. When that particular WLC development gets down to the south end and the developer starts developing that area, they will be responsible for doing all of the circulation improvements related to Alessandro Boulevard. So they will actually be doing those improvements along with the street improvements there on Alessandro. But very similar to all of the developments that occur in our city, at some point those assets that developers then construct for the city become the city's assets. In this particular case, it's a little bit backwards. The developer hasn't even constructed the circulation improvements, and so we're still having to maintain a very old street that is on the east side with potholes and so forth. But at some point, the developer, as they develop out the WLC specific plan further south, they will be responsible for all of the circulation improvements as required by the development agreement. So just wanted to mention that in case there were going to be any speakers on the capital improvement plan. If you recall, it did come up during the May study session, and that's why I decided to go ahead and make that comment just in case the speaker was going to be speaking tonight. With that, I'm available for any questions that you may have.
Thank you very much, City Manager Mohan. We'll bring it back to the dais for any council questions of staff. Seeing none, we'll go ahead and open the public hearing. Madam Clerk, do we have any requests to speak?
We do, Mayor. The first speaker is James Baker.
Good evening to the City Council, City staff, and folks at home, as Tom Joe used to say all the time. Remember that? We are so very pleased to be here tonight and very happy. One of the projects we bought for about a couple of years ago was the basketball court over at Patriot Park. It's a park I adopted about 4 or 5 years ago. And I think we're going to pretty well get it. I hope so. If the City Council approves this, I hope they do. If you do, there'll be a lot of happy people in the area playing basketball. It's going to bring pride to the area. It's going to bring friendship, and I think it's going to even improve the property value in the area. So it's all good. It's all good, and I can't wait to drive by and kind of look over and see the guys playing basketball. I'm just anticipating that. So again, I'm just up here just anticipate the J2 approval tonight. Let's see. That's probably I have right now. Basically, just again, I'm just elated that we got to this point, and thank you all that worked on it so much. It's, again, it's still for final decision for the City Council, but we are waiting for that anticipated. If I do handsprings back here after you guys approve it, hint, hint, I'll be very happy. So, again, thank you again if you go for it. I really appreciate it. And like Captain Picard on Star Trek used to say, make it so. Thank you.
That concludes public comment on this item, Mayor.
Thank you very much, Madam Clerk. We'll go ahead and close the public hearing. And at this time, we will bring it back to the dais for deliberation and a vote. Looking to my colleagues to see if there's any comments. If not, a motion and a second.
I'll make a motion to approve the CIP.
Second.
There is a motion and a second on the floor. Madam Clerk, please call for the vote.
Thank you, Mayor. Councilmember Bernard.
Yes.
Councilmember Gonzalez.
Yes.
Councilmember Delgado.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Santa Cruz.
Yes.
And Mayor Cabrera.
Yes.
Thank you.
And that motion passes unanimously. And next up, item J3, Municipal Code Amendment and Development Agreement Annual Report. And we will hand it over to Community Development for a staff report.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor and members of the City Council. Angelica Frausto-Lubo, Community Development Director. The item before you this evening is the Spring 2025 Omnibus Municipal Code Amendment. This municipal code amendment revises and updates various sections of Title III, Revenue and Finance, Title VIII, Building and Construction, and Title IX, Planning and Zoning, for the purposes of clarifying and streamlining various codes, as well as complying with new state laws. This item includes an annual report on the 3 active development agreements, and all 3 are in compliance. And the recommendation before you is that the City Council find the proposed amendments to the Moreno Valley Municipal Code are exempt from the California Environmental Quality Act in accordance with Section 15061 B3 of the CEQA guidelines. Introduce ordinance number next in order at the conclusion of the public hearing and adopt the same at a subsequent City Council meeting, revising Title III, Revenue and Finance, specifically Chapter 3.38, Residential Development Impact Fees. 3, introduce ordinance number next in order at the conclusion of the public hearing and adopt the same at a subsequent City Council meeting, revising Title 8, Building and Construction, specifically Chapter 8.42, Electric Vehicle Charging Station Review Process. 4, introduce ordinance number next in order at the conclusion of the public hearing and adopt the same at a subsequent City Council meeting, revising Title IX, Planning and Zoning, specifically Chapter 9.01, Administration, Chapter 9.02, Permits and Approvals, Chapter 9.03, Residential Districts, Chapter 9.08, General Development Standards, and Chapter 9.09, Specific Use Development Standards, and that the City Council receive and file the Development Agreement Annual Report. And this does conclude my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Director. We'll go ahead and bring it back to the dais for any council questions of staff. Seeing none, Madam Clerk, do we have any requests to speak?
We do not, Mayor.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. We'll go ahead and bring it back to the dais for any deliberation or a motion and a second.
I motion to approve the item as presented.
I second that motion.
There's a motion and a second. Madam Clerk, please call for the vote.
Thank you, Mayor. Councilmember Bernard,
Yes.
Councilmember Gonzalez,
Yes.
Councilmember Delgado,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Santa Cruz,
Yes.
and Mayor Cabrera.
Yes, and that motion carries unanimously as well. We'll go ahead and move into J4, public hearing and adoption of a resolution to confirm the National Pollutant Discharge Elimination System regulatory rate schedule. And we will turn it over to Public Works for a staff report.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, and council members. The item before you this evening is to conduct a public hearing to review and confirm the National Pollutant Discharge Elimination System annual regulatory rate schedule for fiscal year 2025-26 and to adopt a resolution approving the annual levy of the proposed regulatory rates for submission to the County of Riverside property tax roll as approved by property owners through a mail ballot proceeding. The revenue generated from these rates fund mandated storm water program requirements in the city. It is important to note that these funds are restricted and can only be used for stormwater management programs. That concludes my report, and I'd be happy to answer any questions. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Director. Appreciate the staff report. We'll bring it back to the dais for any council questions of staff. Seeing none, we'll go ahead and move into public testimony. Madam Clerk, do we have any requests to speak?
No, Mayor, we do not.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. So we will bring it back to the dais for any deliberation. If not, we're looking for a motion and a second.
I'll motion to approve as presented.
I second.
There's a motion and a second. Please call for the vote.
Thank you, Mayor. Councilmember Bernard,
Yes.
Councilmember Gonzalez,
Yes.
Councilmember Delgado,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Santa Cruz,
Yes.
and Mayor Cabrera.
Yes, and that
Thank you.
motion carries unanimously as well. Next up, K, general business, and we have one item here, K1, which is a receive and file the data overview of the 2025 Riverside County homeless point in time count. And we'll turn it over to City Manager Brian Mohan for a staff report.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem, council members. The item before you tonight is something new. We haven't typically brought the results of the Continuum of Care's point-in-time count as they are required by HUD, the Housing and Urban Development Department of the federal government, to do a homeless account, which basically covers not only the unhoused but the sheltered as well. And I thought it would be poignant to bring this to council going forward in the future. That way, your constituents, our residents, will now become aware through our meetings as well. Typically, what this particular process is on the Continuum of Care, which the count occurred in January, their staff has been compiling all of the data and so forth. Recently, they did go to the County Board of Supervisors at their last meeting, not the meeting, I believe that was this morning, but their last meeting, as well as they also have presented this at the Continuum of Care Board of Governance meeting. But it is only the information that is provided as the attachment in the infographic that is available. The full report will not be available according to the HWS department of the county who runs the Continuum of Care until next week. We will go ahead and make sure that that is sent to all of you as well. But give you kind of an overview of the countywide overall count. So 3,990 total sheltered and unsheltered were part of the point-in-time count in 2025. That is actually a 7% increase from 2023. If you recall, a speaker at the podium mentioned a 7% increase, and we kind of all look puzzled because we know that there's an actual decrease, and what we really look at is the unsheltered. The countywide numbers are 1,978 total unsheltered through this particular count, which is a 19% decrease from 2023. That was the last time the point-in-time count actually counted unsheltered. The sheltered point-in-time count for this particular year was actually 2012, and that's where you see the increase in overall. That's an 11% increase from 2024, and the reason why is HUD has changed their methodology and definition of sheltered, and so it's required the COC to seek out additional partners. And so you can't really get an apples to apples or an orange to orange review from the current 2025 sheltered numbers to the 2024 sheltered. You can see an apples to apple or orange to orange on the unsheltered 25 to 23. So we typically have always internally and in the homeless updates that I've provided you have always been about the unsheltered. So when we look at the overall count for citywide, our own jurisdiction, there was 154 totaled sheltered and unsheltered that were counted this year. That's a 52.4% increase from 2023. But that, again, goes to the sheltered count that went from 24 sheltered to 99 this particular year. And that has to do with the methodology, the definition change to HUD, and COCs having to work with other additional partners. Our unsheltered count actually decreased 28.5% from this year compared to 2023. We went from 77 unsheltered in 2023 to 55 unsheltered this year. And so, again, when you're looking at the city, 28.5% decrease to the countywide 19% decrease for their unsheltered. You see that the entire county is doing more of an effort with their unsheltered, and you see that they are getting them into programs, services, and shelters. And I think that kind of resonates with all of the updates that you as a body of council is seeing and hearing from the pilot program and the various entities that are part of that pilot program. You have Inland Compassion, you have the Hole in the Wall, you have Building Up Lives Foundation. We also have partnered with Salvation Army on the Homeless to Work, the Homeless Assistance Program, as well as the partnership with a grant funded, it's not our grant, but it's grant funds in which the RUHS has created 2 mobile crisis teams. Additionally, your investment in CBAT, the clinical behavioral assessment teams, which is a partnership with RUHS and our law enforcement contract, as well as the Path of Life coming on board this past year and working through our HUD entitlement funding. So all of those investments have really assisted us in reducing our unsheltered population. So just want to give you kudos for your investment and your approval and support of staff's direction and allowing us to have the partners that we have in order to do this. With that, I'm available for any questions you may have.
Thank you very much, Brian. Appreciate that. We'll go ahead and bring it back for council questions of staff. Seeing none, we'll go ahead and move into public testimony. Madam Clerk, do we have any requests to speak?
We do not, Mayor. Luis Palomares.
Wow, it's good to hear that the count's a little down. And, you know, my hat's off to the organizations that are always out there, Hole in the Wall, all of the ones that come out. Off the top of my head, I can't even name them right now. But my hat's off to them. They do a lot of work for us, and we got to keep on supporting and doing what we can to support them in every which way we can, because we need those organizations here. Because, wow, if we didn't have them, imagine how it would be. People would be, well, I don't got to tell you, you know. So I just want to say thank you for all the organizations that we support and we give to, and keep on doing it. And I'm glad, you know, it sounds better than it did last year about the counts and everything. So thank you again. Bye-bye. Oh. Good night.
That concludes public testimony, Mayor.
Thank you very much, Madam Clerk. We'll go ahead and bring it back to the dais for any council deliberation. If not, it looks like... Yeah,
I did want
the
to.
motion in a second to receive. Go ahead.
Did want to. Ms. Palmares is right. I do want to give recognition to our nonprofits. They consistently show up. They consistently tell us about the work they're doing, especially the Hole in the Wall, Building Up Lives, Inland Compassion, and the Salvation Army. Those entities and their volunteers are out there all the time, rain or shine. Heat stroke or freezing, they're out there with compassion, out of their own time, their own pockets. So thank you. They and the city staff, the county resources are really what's bringing down these numbers. And until the number is 0, we still have a lot of work to do. So thank you to everybody who is continuing to show us that we have work to do by doing these counts, and to all the organizations that continuously help us bring these numbers down. And remember that we're all humans and we all have basic needs, and those should be rights. So thank you.
Is there any further deliberation? And if there is not, just for clarification, looking to staff, this is a receive and file. Do we need to motion and second and vote, or just no action necessary here?
Let me just double check the recommendation. No, the actual recommendation is just receive and file. So as long as you guys are just staff's recommendations, just to memorialize the fact that you are receiving and filing it. That would be appropriate.
Perfect. Thank you for clarifying. So in that case, I'll go ahead and make a motion, if there's no further deliberation, to receive and file staff's recommendation.
Second that motion.
Thank you. There's a motion and a second. Madam Clerk, please call for the vote.
Councilmember Bernard,
Yes.
Councilmember Gonzalez,
Yes.
Councilmember Delgado,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Fox Santa Cruz,
Yes.
and Mayor Cabrera.
Yes.
Thank
That
you.
motion carries. Next up, we have item L, which is the Regional Commission Committee Board reports. We do have two this evening. We'll go first to District 4, Councilmember Bernard for RTA.
Thank you, Mayor. Tonight, I'm providing updates from the RTA Board of Directors meeting held on May 22nd. The board authorized the award of an agreement to Transportation Management and Design, Inc. to conduct a comprehensive operational analysis. The board held a public hearing and then adopted the fiscal year 2026 budget and the fiscal year 2026 through 2028 short-range transit plan. And that concludes my report on the last RTA Board of Directors meeting. But really quick, they are going to be authorized for another round of budgeting for children to ride free. I shouldn't say children. Anyone 18 and under with a school ID to be able to ride free on the bus for the 2025-2026 year. So they're going to be granted that again. And also, if you would like to ride the how do I say this? Because it's just the bus with. Huh? No, I'm ignoring her. Sorry, I'm sorry. the automated bus that they have going around that has been contracted with the city of Riverside. It will be making its way to UCR within the by the fall. But right now it is at the Riverside Airport. So please go there. They have it going around the Riverside Airport. It drops you off at the cafe so you can ride it, see how it is. They're hoping to expand it to downtown Riverside. It will be at UCR, and who knows? We may have driverless buses here in Moreno Valley before you know it. Have not been in it. There is an operator in there. They do. ATU does have operators in there. So there.
Thank you. And the second and final report is for the Regional Conservation Authority. And this is a report from the June 2nd meeting. Reports for the Western Riverside County Multiple Species Habitat Conservation Plan, fee collection, joint project review, status, acquisition status, monthly investment, consultant reports, quarterly financial statements, recurring contracts, DUDEC contact amendment, and state and federal legislative update were received and filed. Staff provided a presentation on adoption of fiscal years 25-26 budget. The presentation consisted of an executive summary, budget summary, changes since the executive committee, revenue sources breakdown, major funding source, uses by program, uses by function, debt service highlights, and capital acquisitions. The board motioned to approve the adoption of fiscal year 25-26 budget items. Staff provided a presentation on the Western Riverside County Multiple Species Habitat Conservation Plan 101 Part 2, an overview of MSHCP basics, including the conservation strategy, rough step, funding, and reserve management and monitoring. Staff provided a presentation on the reserve of the month, the San Mateo Canyon, approximately 1,090 acres located in the northern part of the plan area, funded using MSHCP fees and grants. Finally, the board motioned to approve of ratifying the chair's appointment of Joseph Morabito to the executive committee to fill the current vacancy. And that'll conclude my report for RCA. Next up, item M, Employee Association reports. We do not have one this evening, so we'll go ahead and go to item N, the city manager's report.
Thank you, Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, council members. Just two items tonight. One, I do want to thank the Parks and Community Services Department, along with other departments that were involved, to put on the two recent dedications at two parks, Town Gate and Celebration, related to new themed playground equipment. And for the community, there is a new community day, or the next community day of service is coming up June 14th. So not this Saturday, but the following Saturday from 8 to 12. We'll be at the Equestrian Park and LaSalle Sports Park. So if you come to City Hall, register, and then we will depart after coffee and some pastries and some fun from the council for the youth, and then we will go out and do a community day of service. That concludes my comments. Thank you.
Thank you very much, City Manager. Next up, City Council closing comments, and we'll go to District 4 first.
Thank you. I would like to say there are a few things that I wanted to mention. I wanted to mention, one, that it is swim season is upon us. We are now at Valley View. We were at Canyon Springs last year, but we're at Valley View this year. The pool is bigger, which is offering us to be able to expand services and have a bigger open swim. So please, please, please sign up. Classes are filling up fast from what I'm being told. So that's one issue that I would like to make sure, please, please, please. We fought really hard to make sure that we expanded those services to our residents. We had the commemorative community softball game in commemoration of the Negro League on the 31st. It's the community softball game, honoring the Negro League on the 31st. So thank you to Mr. James Harris for having that event and having us all come out there. I think we all made it different times, but we all made it, and we even had one of our very own participate in it, and I think he survived it. Patrick survived well. He should. I don't know why. He's younger than us. And so I also want to congratulate all of the graduates from college, from high school, 5th grade, kindergarten, preschool, TK. School is ending in the next few days, and as the teachers always say, they are returning them back to our custody for the next few months. So congratulations to all of you. And for those of you graduating from college, congratulations, you've made it. I would like to also say, please be safe this summer. I know this weather is acting really crazy, but we know as the temperatures increase, more children are going to be outside playing and riding their bikes. Please be careful. Please don't speed. Please be aware that this is a time when we want them outside and off their devices, but we also need to pay attention, texting while driving, so things like that. And I just want to end with, same thing I always like to end with, this administration and the fun games that they play. So as many of you may or may not know, Job Corp, which is a very good program that is used to help a lot of lower income folks between the ages of, I believe it's 19 and 25, who are still trying to figure out what to do and learn skills. Because remember, we want to make America great by bringing back a skilled workforce, is having to close. It was supposed to be June 30th, but it's going to be June 2nd because the Department of Labor has decided that's just not in their budget to do. So while I am happy, and there are apprenticeship programs out there that you can go with at a lot of the labor unions, I just like to say that there were other ways for people to be able to live and work and learn a skilled thing. But like everything in this administration, they find some way to muck it up while telling us it's going to be a good thing. So I ask you, if they are closing these centers, which started closing yesterday, and they've told a lot of them they have to get out now, where are these people going to live? And if they didn't finish their training program, what are they going to do? And what skill set will they have? So I want us to always remember the humanity in all of this, and the humanity of the fact that we are still deporting U.S. citizens because they are children, and saying things like, we gave their parents a choice, and so they decided to take them. But remember, you're still a United States citizen who is still entitled to due process. And even those that are here, whether not legally or even permanent residents, are still entitled to due process, as our Supreme Court has dictated. And so with that, I close, and we will see you guys in 2 weeks.
Thank you. Next up, District 3.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Just want to make a few comments and some similar. The community softball game, attended that. It was a great event. Lots of families. I didn't know Patrick had that arm. It was amazing to see how hard he threw. The vendors and my colleagues there here on the dais, and just seeing actually saw an old coworker there from my old days at EDA. So it was a good time, good event to attend that. Congratulations to and again, Mr. Harris was the one that put it all together, and hopefully it's an annual thing moving forward. Congratulations to all the graduates in their hard work throughout this school year. And my son will be promoting, so he'll be leaving 8th grade and joining his brother at Valley View High School. So I'll be there tomorrow morning cheering him on. So happy for Nicolas for his accomplishments. And finally, June 5th, please come out to the Moreno Valley Public Library, my community engagement. So if you have any questions and concerns on District 3 or any other part of the city, please stop by and chat with staff and myself and other members of the community. So with that, again, thank you, staff, for all the hard work you do, and we will see you in 2 weeks or on Thursday. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up, we'll go to District 2.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. And I just want to, there's a few things that I attended. Celebration Park yesterday was awesome. Jeremy, great job for you and your folks. A lot of kids were out there. I don't know if you guys paid them with candy to stay for pictures, but they were there. And they were running around like crazies. So I think you might have pumped. Oh, it was the Kona Ice. That's what it was. The Kona Ice. I went to a ribbon cutting ceremony at the new Wingstop in the Food for Less shopping center on Paris. So if you're in the mood for wings, stop up there. Yep, it's close. Yeah. I too attended the community softball game honoring the Negro League, and it was really cool. It was the Grays against the Monarchs, and there were some friendly wagers going on. But the best part of this game, the whole thing was a community, right? But James, he had notes about the Negro League itself, and in between innings, he would state facts about the Negro League and how they had baseball evolving in those times, and it was amazing. We had no idea. I didn't know. So he was spewing out facts in between innings, and I said, "Is that right?" He said, "Yeah, that's absolutely right." So really cool. And I like Councilmember Gonzalez said, "I hope it's an annual thing." And Shay actually said that too. I hope it is an annual thing, and they bring more information for us and get to celebrate that league. So it was really cool. Like they said, it is the school year is winding down. Congratulations to all the graduates, and you don't forget about your teachers. Your kids' teachers, you need to thank them. And I guarantee you, in your lives, everybody out here has a teacher that impacted their life. Mine was Mr. Andrew in 6th grade. I'll never forget him for the rest of my life. There's 2 other places that you'll never forget is if you were in the military, you'll never, ever forget your first DI. Guarantee you, Donovan, what's your first DI's name? There you go, Mr. Blankenship, Sergeant Blankenship, whatever is it, right? The second one is if you were in the not armed forces, but the sheriff's department or a police agency. You guarantee you know your instructors, your training officer's name for sure, and that goes with the teachers as well. Guaranteed, someone in here, everybody in here has a teacher that they remember that affected their life. So thank you, teachers. Enjoy your summer off. I know we get the kids back, but enjoy your summer off. And I'd like to close with, and thank you, Councilmember Gonzalez, for reminding me the meaning of Friday, which is June 6th, the D-Day. The D stands for day because the final invasion date was uncertain and it was weather dependent. June 6, 1944, Allied troops landed on the beaches of Normandy, marking the largest seaborne invasion in history. The invasion was a crucial step in liberating Western Europe and ultimately contributing to the Allied victory in World War II. And that's why we're able to salute this or pledge to this flag every time we have a meeting. So remember, come Friday, it's D-Day, and you'll hear about it, I'm sure, but remember what it was about. Please be kind to one another. You have an opportunity every single day to make someone smile and change their life So go forth and conquer, and we'll see you in a couple weeks. Thanks.
Thank you. Next up, District 1.
Thank you. I also wanted to share some recent events I attended. I did attend the grand opening of the new Treehouse Park at Towngate in District 1. If you haven't been over there, you need to go. We have replaced all the wood chips into this bouncy foam that feels like you're on a gymnastics mat. So the same material was also used in the opening that I went to this week at Celebration Park. The water features are on in our water parks. So if you haven't been, head on out. Those are already open. So it was great to be able to invest in our community, in our park. So thank you to Jeremy and your team. Excellent, great opportunity for us to go out there and cut the ribbons. So thank you. I also attended the community softball game. And it was a game between the Grays and the Monarchs. And I knew a lot of the facts because I'm a baseball fan, but I actually already had a jersey of the Grays. It's Josh Gibson, because recently the MLB integrated the Negro League stats, and Josh Gibson has knocked Ty Cobbs off of the RBI, highest RBI. And so he is number one. And so I was ready for this game with my Gibson Grays jersey. So that was great to go out there. So I look forward to being able to do that again soon. Let's see, I wanted to say thank you to Beaumont for inviting me out to the Cherry Festival. Great event, and I invite them out to 4th of July, our event. Community softball game. Our next Community Day of Service is Saturday, June 14th, and I will be at the Equestrian Park. So if you are planning on coming to the Community Day of Service and you have any books lying around on animals, the Library Commission's free little libraries. The one at the Equestrian is actually earmarked to be animal books. So if you're coming out and you have some animal books, you may want to bring them. So there's a reminder, that's where I'll be that morning. Towngate Parks. I wanted to congratulate all the graduates throughout our city. I have my grandson's moving from TK to kindergarten. The kindergartners are promoting, the 6th graders are promoting, our high schoolers are promoting, and so there'll be a lot more traffic starting this week and next week. So congratulations to all the high school graduates, especially my nephews, Enrique Valadez from Glendora High School, Nomar Baca Carrillo, North Hollywood Senior High, and Peter Palomares, Valley View High School. So congratulations. And I also attended the Athena Scholarship, and one of our Moval Learn students, Tatiana Rugamas, was awarded $1,000 as she was the awardee for Moreno Valley College. So congratulations. And finally, I would like to close our meeting in the name of Greg Donahue. I know many of you know him. He was very involved in the Rotary with the Chamber of Commerce, and he was a constant in our community. So it was a very sudden passing, and I'd just like to honor his service to our community and close this meeting in his honor. This concludes my comments.
Thank you. And just a couple brief things, not to reiterate too much of what has been said, but the dedication or ribbon cutting ceremonies for the Towngate and Celebration Park playgrounds, that was really, really nice. And luckily the weather wasn't too bad. It wasn't too hot. We were able to make it through, and the Kona Ice definitely helped. So thank you to Parks for making your way through that $6 million Parks refurbishment plan. I know we're getting toward the tail end there, so really appreciate all that you guys have done to make these upgrades possible and bring them to fruition for our community. Also, the softball event commemorating and honoring the Negro League. Thank you to James Harris. He's just absolutely amazing. He was multitasking. He was playing. He was emceeing. He was coordinating, organizing everything. And the turnout was awesome. They had a lot of vendors out there. And he asked me to throw out the first pitch, even though I'm not I'm not a baseball player. I'm a basketball player by nature. I grew up playing basketball, so I'm not a very good pitcher. But luckily, I made it to home base, and I don't know if he was joking or not. The gentleman that was swinging, he said he was going to miss on purpose. It was a thing, but I don't know if he was joking or not. He ended up missing, so I don't know. I need to practice my pitching a little bit more, but it was really nice, and really hats off to James Harris for putting all that together. Community Day of Service, we hope to see you out there. We're going to be in District 2 and District 4, so look forward to that. Also, early, because we won't see you until after it'll be our next council meeting. Happy very early Father's Day to all the fathers out there. We had Mother's Day not that long ago, but to all the fathers, a todos los padres, feliz Día de los Padres. And, thank you for all that you do, all the fathers here in the room as well. For doing our part, to raise our families and to make sure that our families have everything that they need to be successful. And last but not least, also congratulations to all of the graduates. It feels like just yesterday that I was in high school, but looking back on it now, it's been a little over 10 years. And I still remember when I attended Valley View High School, actually to piggyback on Councilmember Delgado's comments about the teachers that you never forget. At Valley View High School, I remember there was a teacher, my AP Spanish teacher, Miss Rogers from Brazil. She was tough. She was tough on us. She was fierce, but she is one of those teachers that I will never forget because she was tough on us, and she really taught us, that discipline. And so just, brought back some memories there from Valley View High School. And, just to all the students, all the parents out there, congratulations to everybody that's graduating, and, look forward to seeing what else you're going to accomplish here in this next chapter. And so that will conclude my comments. And before we adjourn, we'll look to my colleagues for item P, future agenda items, to see if there are any requests for future items.
I have one, Mr. Mayor. I think it's policy 103, 1.03 regarding sharing information on CRMs. And there was some CRMs that were submitted in my district that I didn't know about. And I think it's just a great idea that if there is a CRM generated, that the council members should know. That way we can follow up. Not that I don't want to take over or anything, just follow up. There were 2 or 3 CRMs that I could have followed up on, but now are way past. They're already resolved. But so I'd like to bring back. Is it 103, Brian?
Yeah, council member. So, sorry, I was just counsel with the city attorney here. So recently we brought policy 1.03, and there were a multitude of exceptions that were approved by council. I believe one of those exceptions had to do with CRM. So if it's trying to do something else, that policy would need to come back. So the motion would be potentially to modify, revise 1.03 related to that particular item.
And it is my understanding that we do it informally, but there's no policy on it. So if these 3 got missed for sure. So my motion would be to bring back 1.03 to readdress it and just add that. We'll talk about it when it does come back.
Under the new standard for item P, section P, future agenda items, it would need to be a motion, a second, and then a vote of council. And it would require a majority vote to carry and staff to bring something back.
I second the motion.
Okay, there's a motion and a second. Madam Clerk, please call for the vote.
Thank you, Mayor. Councilmember Bernard.
Yes.
Councilmember Gonzalez.
Yes.
Councilmember Delgado.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Baca Santa Cruz.
Yes.
And Mayor Cabrera.
Yes.
Thank you.
That motion carries. And we'll go ahead and move into adjournment, item Q, and we will close in memory of Mr. Greg Donahue. May he rest in peace. He will be dearly missed. We will officially adjourn our meeting at 8:39 p.m. Have a good night.
Oops, wrong way.